basically the reason I am doing this again is because I promised you I would try to put up content regularly every week, and the fish room at the moment is a little bit getting in the way of this because because it's taking up so much time, and because watching people work is exhausting. Now I'm just joking. This time I actually I helped out. Those of you that follow me on Instagram will have seen the fish room updates already, where it's basically almost all been PVC'd now. So all the walls are completely white, and they're sort of like plastic, very clinical. I'm like, to anyone who doesn't know what I'm doing, like my neighbours, for example, it looks like a murder room. Not gonna lie. This room, there is no doubt about it, is going to get me in trouble at some point, because firstly, as I said, if the police walked in there now, it looks like a murder room. And the other thing is that the police here, if they're looking for like marijuana farms, they look at the houses which have abnormally high water rates and have abnormally high electricity rates. So something tells me that the police are going to be knocking on my door at some point with that system being built. So, but yeah, as I said, because like you tune in every week to watch my videos. When I don't make them, I'm going to try and do a live stream, just so you've got something to watch at least. And yeah, so there's no plan for this one. If you have any questions, go for it. Ryan has a white room instead of a red room. That's very true. And if you think about it, the red room's a pleasure room, and technically this is my pleasure room. So I think women. Well, when I say women, I think. Okay, I won't say names, but I think that any woman that I have at this house, if I invite them to my pleasure room, I feel that I think they're going to be awfully disappointed when they walk in, unless it's unless it's a specific woman. She might be she might like it as well. So I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this. And I've not even had a sip yet. Nasty Nemo, I look forward to seeing you next weekend. At Coral Freaks. So Reef Girl's here as well. It's good to see you got in at the beginning this time. I was just saying basically that there is no plan for this live stream. This live stream is very much going to be built around you. So whatever you want to talk about, we'll talk about, and that's it. So the next step for the fish room, I don't know if some of you will be following my Instagram account already, some of you won't. Those of you that are following it will have seen, firstly, the plan of what it's going to do, and then how about your amazing sump layout? That is what I've literally just posted on Instagram. So if you haven't seen it yet, if you want to know what we're talking about, very quickly, go on to Prestige Reef on Instagram, and you will see what we're talking about. So it's Matty, I can take no credit, if I'm honest, for the sump layout, because I haven't designed it. I've designed not any of it. Like occasionally I'll say, like, can we change this bit, or can we add, because originally there was going to be a filter roller on it, but I prefer the idea of filter socks, just because anything that's going to take more than 30 seconds to do, I'm not going to do. And it takes about 15 minutes to replace a filter roller, apparently, and at the moment, they're not for me. So, but you never know, maybe one day. I know Nasty Nemo swears by his. Let's have a look. How about your amazing sump? Was just about to start water testing. Well, this is the perfect time. You can tell us your water tests. I tested mine. Just before I changed the water today. My KH has been slightly too high. It's slightly higher than where I want it to be, because it was I think it was 10.3. So gradually over the last week, I brought it down, and it's now 9.8. I think 9.4. So it's getting there. I want it to be around 8.4. 8.4 is where it wants to be, but I basically had been dosing too much, and if you, as I said, because I've got so much going on at the moment. When you've got other things going on, you let water tests slip. You don't notice your dosing pumps. Maybe the concentration perhaps of the dosing solutions is too high. And gradually I've let the KH creep up slightly. Now it's not a big problem having high KH, because it actually makes your corals grow faster, but generally they're more brittle. Is it really echoey in here for everyone? Is it more echoey than the last time I did this? Because I've closed the door and I think it's making it more echoey. So if it is more echoey, let me know and I'll open the door. So where have we got to? What's your favourite fish? There's a question that comes up quite regularly, and it's quite a difficult one to answer. Like immediately, Regal Angel is the first thing that pops into my head. However, if I could only keep one fish in my from my main tank, or one fish at all, it would be Pablo, my boxfish. So does that mean Pablo is my favourite? And the one fish which I had a Swiss Guard, which unfortunately I think it jumped. It was a long time ago. It was years and years ago, and I was always on the lookout for another Swiss Guard Bacillin. And then when more echo but not more annoying. Okay, 1 second. Let me open the door quickly. I don't know if that will make much of a difference, but we'll give it a go. Where was I? Oh yeah, so Swiss Guard Bacillin. When I lost my Swiss Guard Bacillin, I think generally if I lose a fish, it's very, very unusual for me to replace it. Normally I will find something completely different. So, which was difficult when I had the tank crash, because I lost this was obviously 7 years ago now, I think, or something like that. But I lost loads of, like 2 sailfin tangs, the 2 different types of sailfins, an Atlantic blue tang. So I've never really added more tangs, because if I lose a fish, it's very rare for me to replace it. I just find something different, basically. But the Swiss Guard Bacillin, I think everyone should have one, because you only see them once a week, and when you do see them, it's like a little treat for you. So yeah, Swiss Guard, as I said, and they don't take up too much room. They're a reasonably hardy fish. They're not aggressive, and they're colourful. Let's have a look. 50 minutes. How can you be a moderator? You have to be a special person to be a moderator. So I'm not saying you're not special. It's just you have to prove you're special. Josh Powell's here. It's good to see you here, Josh. I've still got your grafted Monty, still growing. Let's say, 1 second. I've lost where the chat was now. Worth the 10 minutes to change it. Look, I think Nasty Nemo works for Clarity, because he's always telling everyone to go and buy one. So I think he's getting commission from them. Haven't nearly tested. Yes, Nasty Nemo's here. Not sure about the last time, but it is quite echoey. There is a little echo. Let me know if the echo has improved. More echo, but not more annoying. 8.7 is your sweet spot. Whatever your sweet spot is, just aim for that. Your tank will settle itself out. So don't chase numbers. As I said, it's my own fault that mine's got too high. Are you planning to ship abroad? You can't actually ship abroad. It really depends on where you're from. If you're referring to somewhere in Europe, then at some point in time I will. I just don't know when that will be yet. And it also really obviously depends on how things are affected with Brexit. Marcus Lamb says, "Where's my shout out, Marcus?" Welcome. Yay, another live. Katie King, I haven't seen you before. So, did you start the hobby with a freshwater tank? I did. I didn't actually start the hobby with a freshwater tank. What actually happened was my the people who saw the last live stream will know this. I had a girlfriend when I was 17, and her brother had a freshwater tank. He didn't look after it. So one day I started looking after it. Things progressed. I then started buying fish and putting them in it. And then obviously lots of relationships end, when you start them when you're 17. Things we didn't stay together, and then he got to keep the tank in the divorce, which not acceptable. Let's put it this way: it probably went significantly downhill after I left. I'm excited about coral freaks. Be interesting to hear what you're expecting. I'm not entirely sure what I'm expecting from coral freaks yet. It's obviously I have been to some of the biggest shows. In fact, I have been to the biggest shows. Interzoo was unbelievable. That's where I met Nasty Nemo, many other people. And then I went to Macna, which is where I met Mindy, which was, again, that was one of the best times of my life. And then I went to Reef, which has a very, very different feel to Macna. And because it's really all about the corals there. So because obviously I can't buy coral, so it doesn't have the same effect as the people who are there buying. And then after I went to Macna in Orlando, which unfortunately because of the hurricane, if those of you who saw my video, wasn't a good show. It's not their fault. As I said, the shows are always about the people. So if Coral Freaks is done well, where there's an atmosphere and there's a lot going on, it should be really good. But then again, you also remember this is the first time that they've done this, so you can't expect it to be like one of the big shows. This is hopefully the beginning of something huge, which will be an annual event. But remember, Macna and Reefapalooza, they didn't start as these huge events. So I think for me it will be good because this is the first time I get to meet the English people. Like obviously I've met loads and loads of people that follow the channels in America. It was great. I got to meet Gabe last time, who's in the chat now. Too please. You meet all the other YouTubers over there, so it really is quite the event. And the other thing is, it's the companies. It's really strange. I'm not famous. I am not famous, and I never forget this. But in those rooms for that day, it's a really strange feeling. People come and ask for pictures, and I'm just a normal person. And the other thing that quite often happens, some of the companies will take you out to dinner, and you really feel like you're a celebrity. You feel like you're someone special, but I'm not. I'm just a guy with a fish tank and a camera. So, what am I expecting? It's hard to say, but it will be good to meet you because that's one of the things is there are so many people that I speak to all the time that I don't get to meet very very often. So that for me will be it. How much space does your new plumbing take up? If you look at the picture, the 4 coral trays, the picture is actually only of one system. There's going to be 2 of those systems. The 4 coral trays are 4 feet by 2 feet. So if you can imagine, it's going to take it's going to be 4 feet basically. And then, and it'll probably be 4 feet forward and 4 feet sideways. How was having low alk, so added. I just say I'm really, really tired today. So and when as those of you that have seen the streams before, I'm not shy. I struggle to read basically, and when my brain's tired, it's actually even much worse. So this was probably a bad idea coming on, but I'm enjoying myself. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself. 19 people here who've clicked the like button are clearly enjoying themselves. I'm going to start threatening people if you don't click the like button. So I need to get some Aptasia from somewhere. And then when I say, click the like button, if you don't do it, I'll send you some Aptasia. And that will, all of a sudden, I've now gone from 19 to 25. See? If you threaten people with Aptasia, now it's gone to 32. People will literally just click that button just so they don't have someone click the dislike button, it's all right, YouTube loves engagement. So anyone else who wants to click the dislike button, go for it. Where are we? What do I do if my isolation tank is way smaller than my normal tank and I want fish which is too large for the isolation tank? Unfortunately, you need a bigger isolation tank. The other option is if you've got a nice fish shop, no, because the whole point is that you're isolating from other fish. Yeah, you haven't got a lot of choice. Some people say freshwater dips and things like that, but if you're going to the level of having an isolation tank to begin with, you might as well do it properly, and you can probably pick up a second-hand tank pretty cheap. At least you can over here. Still listening, but can't chat. Getting all my testing done. Reef girl, I want to know if everything is on, because you said a minute ago that you haven't tested for a long time. So I want to know if everything is as it should be. We're all honest here. Are there still any tickets for Coral Freaks? Tried everywhere, but you can't get them. Unfortunately, there aren't. I think I got. It was one of the last. I think I was under 10. There were less than 10 left when I got mine, and that was weeks ago. Interzoo was cool. Of course it was, because that's what we got to hang out together. What fish did you start out with? My very, very first fish was actually it was a yellow fox-faced rabbitfish. Now, originally, I went into the fish shop because I'd been in there the day earlier. Now, I started with a predator tank. As many of us do, they go, I'm not going to have coral. So, being 18 and thinking it's cool, I'm going to get a lionfish and all these other like triggers and groupers and frogfish, and I planned it all out and had a feeding schedule for them all and everything. So I went to the fish shop on my very first day and I went, I want to buy a lionfish, because I'd seen one in there earlier. And they said, I'm sorry, but we just sold the last lionfish. And I went, okay. Well, the reason I wanted the lionfish is because they're venomous. So what other venomous fish have you got? And I ended up leaving that day with a fox-faced rabbitfish, which is in no way anywhere near as cool as a lionfish, for me at the time anyway. But I grew to love that fish so much. And I had it for, I think, 8 years. And then it started eating coral. And, that was painful. That was one of my more painful fish to sell on, basically. It was called Dave, It was good as gold. It was good as gold until he started eating acans. Which is ironic, because after that, I then got the regal angelfish, who has also been good as gold until I suspect, started eating acans. She didn't actually, something was bothering them. It didn't tell me what, I don't know what it was, but if I put them in my sump, they're fine, and if I put them in my tank, they're not fine, and I've never seen her. She's like a ninja. I've never seen her touch any corals. She doesn't even touch mushrooms, which is very unusual for angelfish. But there is a high chance that I think that she is that she's the culprit. But she gets a free pass. Although Dave had to move on because I thought maybe it might turn on the rest of my coral. She's been there for ages, so Lily, the regal angel, has a free pass. It's interesting because Lily is going to be too big for maybe at first, but Lily's going to be too big eventually for the Red Sea tank. So what I will probably end up doing is put her in one of the 4x2 coral trays. Actually, they're the same size, aren't they? Maybe I won't do that. I'm not sure about Lily yet. Let's see. But I can't have a fish that's too big. But she's only small still, so it'll be a long time before she gets to that level. So that's how I started with my first fish. And the other thing about fox faces is, so, young, like, I'd done a lot of research, but I was reasonably naive. It was an impulse buy, which I should never have done. So I took the fish home, put it in the fish tank. No one had told me that fox faces change colour, because those of you who don't know, if you Google it, fox faces can go from or this type of fox face can go from a really bright yellow colour to black and white and brown and all splotchy, and it like wedges itself into a rock sideways. And I put it in and I immediately thought it was dying. Immediately. So naturally I panicked because no one had told me, and I called the fish shop, and the fish shop then told me that was normal, and I realised that I was an idiot. So, the person who put the dislike took it away. Come on, don't get my hopes up. I always love at least one troll in here. Have you seen the in-tank drop-in chambers to replace the filter socks? I haven't, if I'm honest. My old tank was running for 1 year, all good. Now moved to a new tank, all tests good, but SPS not happy. All water doing good. Happy, all water good, doing my head in. SPS can be a bit funny. It all depends on what type of SPS you've got as well. I'm about to be in exactly the same situation, because as soon as this system is set up, the fish room set up, my entire system is going to be shut down. It's going to be all the coral will be, because obviously I need somewhere to keep it at the moment. So it's yeah, like as soon as that one's ready, I'm going to be moving the coral over. Aaron's aquarium moved SPS corals over on day one. He put them in a brand new tank on day one, and he used some sort of bacteria product, which apparently obviously has worked for him because his tank looks great at the moment. So, I mean, I've never used a bacteria product. I don't ever try to promote things I have no idea about, so it's completely up to you. But that's something to try. When is your next trip to the US? At the moment, I don't know. The main reason I go to America is to go see Mindy. I'll be honest with you. The shows are nice, but usually either before or after the shows, I see Mindy. So, but technically it's her turn to come here. So if you all want to send her a message saying, look, Prestige is lonely. So, I love how I just challenged you and now I've got 4 dislikes. If you want to send Mindy a message, not now, later, you're all here. But if you want to send her later saying, go see Prestige, she'll be like, what is going on? Why have a load of people messaging me saying go to Ryan's house? Would you get a Pablo tattoo? Tramp stamp? Definitely not. I actually don't have any tattoos. I don't think I'm cool enough to have tattoos. I just don't think that they would suit me. People say there's a tattoo for everyone out there, but I disagree. I don't think there is a tattoo out there for me. You're kind of famous, not really. What fish did you start? Oh, we just covered that one a minute ago, unless I've moved back up. It's called Influencers, totally famous, you're a star. Love your live streams, but feel like I'm cheating on Michael. Look, Michael's here sometimes, and I don't know if you saw Michael's the other day. I was in Michael's live stream. That's one of the main reasons I'm going to Coral Freaks is because Michael and I get on really, really well. And because we live at complete opposite ends of the country, we sort of see each other once a year. But next week, I am seeing him on Saturday, and then I will be seeing him at Aqua Telford. That's the next show, technically, that I'll be going to. I'll be seeing him, but that's a trade-only show. But yeah, I'll be seeing him at Aqua Telford on the Wednesday afterwards. So, have you ever had an exquisite wrasse? I am not a big wrasse man, if I'm honest, so I haven't. Are you doing any meetups in England anytime soon? No one's ever asked me to do a meetup. Technically I will be, as I said, I'll be at Coral Freaks, but no one has specifically asked to meet me. As I said, it's very strange. It's still very strange to me that that 58 people are watching. It's just, I never forget. I never forget that it's always humbling. It's incredibly humbling that people enjoy what I do and that I get to help people as well. Right, do you run... Oh, I've just lost where I was. I literally just lost where I was on the chat. So, do you run high, medium or low nutrient tank? My tank has always been very low nutrient. It was because I always thought that the SPS corals needed an absolutely very, very low nutrient tank. and then and they always grew fine, but they were a lighter colour than I would have liked. I then went to Mindy's house, and Mindy also has SPS corals, but her tank runs at a slightly higher nutrients than mine, and her corals were like popping. I'm not talking about some of the soft corals. I mean like the SPS corals, and the growth rate was crazy. And I didn't realize at the time. See, even now I learn all the time. I didn't realize just how important a higher level of nutrient is. So see, always, as I said, I try to tell people this. Always remember that you can learn off other people, and it doesn't matter who they are. So always be willing to listen. Because if someone said to me, like, you need to run a higher nutrient tank, I'd have gone, nah. But as soon as I started seeing a higher nutrient tank for a couple of weeks, I was like, okay, let's give this a go. And the corals on my tank have the coloration has come out so much more. Where are we? Can a cleaner S get rid of flukes? I don't believe so. I think that might be a common misconception. As I said, I don't like to say things I'm not 100% sure on, so I'll be honest with you. I don't believe that it does. It doesn't get rid of white spot and things like that. So I don't know with flukes. My piss shrimp has been absent without leave for 3 weeks. Should I be concerned? If he was always with your Watchman Goby before, perhaps, maybe they've fallen out. You never know. But usually you can hear pistol shrimp at night, so that's probably your best bet. Go down when it's all dark and see if you can hear any clicking. Have you got any freshwater tanks? I have no freshwater tanks. One day I'd like to start a planted tank, but we will see. Are you going to get any Prestige Reef stickers made like Mindy? So far, I have avoided the sticker game because I saw what happened to Mindy when she announced she had stickers. She just got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages going, send me a sticker, send me a sticker. And that's why I've avoided it. Having said that, because the fish room is very clinical, I thought that one of the walls I could cover in everyone's stickers if I could get hold of them somehow. So if people are sending me their stickers, in theory, it's only fair if I get some made, but I might make, I don't know, maybe 100. I could do like a very exclusive set of stickers for exclusive people. But at this moment in time, I don't have any plans. But we shall see. I can't afford stickers at the moment. I'm too busy buying paint for the ceiling. For the fish room. I don't know if you saw, again on my Instagram, I had a pot of paint in the back of the van. It fell over. It went everywhere. It went into my lawnmower. It's quite a good picture because my lawnmower has obviously been moving backwards and forwards slightly. It's not even my lawnmower. It's a lawnmower I was borrowing, so it's even worse. But because it's been moving backwards and forwards slightly, the roller on the lawnmower has basically become like a paint roller and it's just completely covered in white. So when I took it out to, see, this is something I didn't know about buying a house. You know, no one tells you this when you buy a house. There's stuff in the garden, yeah, and it's green, it's on the floor, it sort of looks like hair algae, and every couple of weeks or even a week, you have to frag it. And so because no one had told me about grass and how you have to keep cutting it, I've never had grass before, so never lawnmower. So what I did is I basically just left it and it got about a foot long and I thought, I should probably cut this now. So I borrowed the lawnmower. The lawnmower was covered in paint. I thought the best way to clean this lawnmower, put on the grass. The grass now looks like a football pitch, but with really, really thick white lines, or at first it did. But then as I cut it, it luckily disappeared, so that was good. Yeah, my Instagram's become a little bit more interesting recently because I do these funny things. So yeah, I can't afford stickers, but you know, as I said, maybe one day. Exclusive reveal. I've just got a 1-spot fox face yesterday. That is very exclusive. Look, if you don't follow Reef Girl, go and subscribe to her channel. Like every video. Comment on every video, nice things, Yeah, nice things only. Reef Girl is well. There are certain people that really support the channel. Have been around for a long time. They like and comment and watch every video, and Reef Girl is one of them. So, like, if there's one thing to do today, either now or later, go and subscribe to her channel, because you know it's nice to help people, and she helps me. So if I can help her, it's brilliant. Casey Reefs is here. Oh, this is the first time. Oh shit! Don't swear on live streams. Yeah, I need to put this down. I play with stuff too much. Casey Reefs, as I said, yes. See how excited I got to see you. This is the first time, as I said, that you've been here. Listening to the cogs turning. Are you going to get any more prestige? Oh, I've done this bit already. Unless people are commenting the same thing. I lost a blue spot jaw fish. Oh, that's sad. Because they're actually a really nice. Oh, is a blue spot? Oh no, sorry. When you say blue jaw, I'm assuming you're talking about a blue spot jawfish. There you go. You have a dislike. Okay. Why am I not surprised it was you that disliked it? Nutrients, guys. What are you running? My phosphate I keep around 0. It fluctuates between 0.05 and 0.08. And my nitrate is normally between 2.5 and 5. At the moment, it's 5. Oh, Gabe gave me a dislike too. 6 dislikes now. Something is spinning a web in my tank. What could it be? Good question. That is a very good question. I'm not actually sure. I'm not sure. Ask Aaron. I gave him when he was at Exotic World. SPS is hard, keep an eye on them. It can be, it all depends on what you go for. Some of the Monteporas are much easier than, say, Acroporas. This tank probably, as in the Red Sea tank, will probably have some of the more high-end Acroporas, hopefully. But we shall see. What's up with the wench by the name? Oh, the wrench is for moderators. I said wench. Blast her messages. I've just realised what bit I've got to. I've lost my red Monty plate in my tank, but my Acros are all doing well. Well, if you do Acros doing well, that's good. Sending Mindy to the pleasure room. Look, those of you who've only just tuned in, the pleasure room is the fish room. It's not some sort of like weird red room. She should be at Coral Freaks. I've just realised I am so far behind in this, so let's see if I can do it quickly. Apparently Marcus is my biggest fan. Look, well, it's always good to have my biggest fan here. Bro, come to Aquashella in Dallas. One day I would like to go to Aquashella. That's sort of like the last show, I think. There is a show in Europe, which I'd like to do as well. Love your videos, now check out your live streams, welcome. When is your site going to be full of coral again? The website probably is not going to be full of coral again until the fish room is up and running, because I've basically run out of space in my main tank for frags. So as I sell those, more will go on. But for the moment, there's two things. Firstly, I haven't got time to keep putting up new corals on at the moment, but don't worry, when it's back up and running fully, it's going to be amazing. I've got a couple of OG bounces, a couple of Frankenstein bounces, some Sunkiss. I've got some, you can tell I was sort of specialised in bounces. I've got a white, like a weird bounce I've never even seen with this, like it's green with white bubbles. But I've got quite a lot of corals that aren't on there. I've got some really great Cephastria as well, which are all growing out. So, have a cleaner ass for your cleaner ass. Ryan, is it true freshwater is your favourite tank to own? Yes, Casey, just to be controversial. Going to New York soon, mate, love it. I want a boxfish so badly. One second. I want a boxfish so badly. Is it true you can't be kept with clean shrimp? I've never tried to keep Pablo with any shrimp, so I don't know. Big boxfish you might struggle with. The smaller ones you'd probably be fine with. But I always advise people don't get a boxfish. Boxfish don't make good pets. I hate the fact that people watch my video and then send me messages saying, because of you I bought a boxfish. That was not what it was intended. At the end of the video, it literally tells you not to buy one. I don't think they're great fish for tanks. With regards to your comment about them nuking, I don't know of any first-hand experience of boxfish where they've died and nuked a tank. I personally have lost a boxfish before Pablo. I didn't find the body, and there was no issue with the tank at all. So that's I really think that's a myth. You need a Nasty Nemo sticker. Yes, I do. Well, when you come to the party, Nasty Nemo, which I'm not having, but you seem to think that I am having, because you're inviting yourself to it. When the party's on, you can bring your stickers. Very slow fish. Oh, Two Please is here. Yes, I've literally only just seen your super chat. Thank you very much. You've let me down though, because you're the $2 king or the $1.99 king. So $9.99 is it's just so not you. It feels wrong, but thank you very much. So it's good to have you here. I don't know if you saw that I was here or you got my Instagram message, because special people get notified to let you know I'm coming. Well, let you know I'm coming online. That was not good. Scrap that last bit. Where is it? Message automatically held for review. See what this said. View deleted message. Oh, it was just spam. Aaron's Aquarium's here. Yes. Road to 50k. That's him, I'm assuming, not me. I'm still a long way off. He said a bad word. You can see how far behind I am. Michael made it. You're a sweetie. Would just like to say, a month ago I messaged you on Instagram for help with my tank and everything's going well now. Thank you so much. Send me a message again, Katie, because I'd be interested to see what I said. I always try to get back to as many people as I can. I've been a bit more relaxed recently with it, but I try my best. Has anyone typed in Reef Girl? Because... Oh, Two Please is... Two Please. Thank you very much again. Now, the $1.99 king is back, where he should be. Have you ever run a tank on natural seawater? I've done loads of stuff in the hobby. When I ran a tank on natural seawater for probably about 2 years, and I used to go down and collect it, literally just off the beach. I wouldn't recommend it. I used to put on waders and go into the sea at low tide, and one day in the middle of winter, when I mistimed it, and I got knocked over by a wave, and I didn't have any spare clothes, and the beach was about 40 minutes from me. It was near my local fish shop, so I was going there anyway, so it didn't matter about the petrol. And I had to drive home completely soaking wet. I bought a boxfish, just attempt to save it from another hobbyist, but it was tiny. I don't know why it died. Many boxfish die for some reason, for no apparent reason. I got your message and Gabe got hold of me. Yeah, see, Gabe's he looks after me, he looks after you too. You're mad, it's so cold, mate. Yes, I'm back to the bottom. You can start messaging me again now and I will be able to answer your actual questions. I probably will only be on for another 20 minutes if my phone lasts. The reason is one of the reasons is I'm going to phone Mindy, and the other thing is I set some time aside for myself to today, and I said I would definitely do it. And I want to just have some time to relax, basically. I want to watch Chasing Corals on Netflix. I've never seen it before, so I don't know if it's any good. If you've seen it, let me know what you think. And obviously we can, yeah. So what else is there for me to talk about? I don't know how Michael does this, because he talks for hours and hours. I suppose he's a bit more structured than I am, but he's been doing it for years. So, actually, interesting question, obviously. Reef Dork asked me, I don't know if you're still there, Michael, if you just popped in just to show your face. Reef Dork asked me a minute ago what I'm looking forward to with regards to coral freaks. I'll be interested to hear your opinion, because obviously you've been to shows yourself. So it'd be interesting to see what you think it's going to be like. I don't have a sexy green screen yet. Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll have one. But yeah. Oh, the other thing is actually those of you who watched my the live stream last time. Well, if you were here last time, send me a message now just to say I was here, because you will remember. Gabe, thank you very much again for, well, you did last time, you did this time for obviously sending a super chat. It's greatly appreciated. It, basically all your money, for all the money from YouTube, all the super chats, any Patreon money, any Coral money, everything is going into building that system which you saw on, which you see on live stream. As I said, what was I saying? Those of you that were here last time, well, and we're at the very, very end, will remember that I cut the stream short very, very quickly. I had a phone call, and it must have been sort of 9:30. I think it was about 9:30 at night, and literally while I was on the stream, and the phone call was actually from my mum. Now, I don't know, most people probably don't know this. So the tank that I have, that's in the 1,000-litre tank, is at my parents' house. It has been at my parents' house for 12 years, if you think about it. Now, I moved out when I was younger, and I've lived in several flats and I've moved, like, rented places since then. And every day I go back to the house for 3 minutes. To feed the fish, check everything's okay, and then at the weekend I go and do a water change. They basically have a glorified tank maintenance man that they call their son, because every day I come back and feed the fish. I don't even trust them to feed the fish, but every so often, if they think something's wrong, they will give me a call. Now, I got a call, as I said, about 9:30 at night. I thought there's only one reason she would be calling at me at 9:30 at night, and that's because something's wrong. I would close the live stream very quickly, as you remember. And basically she said something's wrong, so I rushed over to their house as fast as I could, because I thought something's really, really wrong. Only to get there to find out that the noise, the noise which they thought was something wrong, was the auto top up. The same noise which has been going on every day, probably 5 or 6 times every day, probably maybe more than that, maybe up to 10 times, because I lose about 75 litres of RO water every week. Or I go through, well, between sort of 60 and 75, depending on how warm it is. And yeah, so apparently this was the first time she has ever noticed the auto top up in 8 years. So I rushed back to the house only to get there and go, oh, phew, everything's fine. But it was, as I said, it was a dramatic, cliffhanger to leave everyone on before. Your boxfish still live after a year. That's good. That's good to hear. Reef King is going to watch the video. Bree, there is just at the bottom of the chat. If you want to do a super chat, if anyone wants to do a super chat, so you don't have to. I'm just glad that you're keeping me entertained for the evening. If anyone wants to do a super chat, just at the bottom of the chat, there is a little smiley face and there is a little $sign, and you just click that basically. And I think you can do it. I sent Aaron's Aquarium a super chat the other day, and I think I did it through PayPal. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did it through PayPal. So if you've got a PayPal account, it's really easy. You just click it and log in. But as I said, you don't have to. It's only if you want to buy me more paint for the roof. Eventually, I'm going to and obviously, the more money I have, the quicker I can get this done. But it's, I'm just happy you're here. I'm happy that 59 people clicked that like button, and there's 57 people watching. So some of you obviously got bored and left. But that's fine, I'm not that entertaining. Why don't you stay and have dinner with your parents? My parents don't usually have dinner at 9:30 at night. So that's probably why I didn't. But trust me, as soon as I got there, I wasn't annoyed, because you can't be annoyed. They're trying to help. I had a pufferfish too, but he got too big. I've always wanted a pufferfish. I've never had a pufferfish. And in one of the tanks in the fish room, potentially, I will have some weird fish. possibly. Fish that even maybe I only have them for a year, or you start with a year and they just stay. So one of the tanks, any tanks which don't have coral in at the moment, I can put whatever I want in. So I quite fancy a dog-faced pufferfish, or I had a porcupine pufferfish once, but it was only about this big. It was probably about 2 inches. And I had a sailfin tang, which was probably just about 2/3 of a foot. And it used to take chunks at night. In the middle of the night, it used to go and take chunks of flesh out of the sailfin. And I couldn't work out what it was until, I couldn't work out what it was until one day I saw him do it. So the next day he got sold to someone who had an aggressive tank. I warned them, and if you want to, when I say sold, it was barely sold. I paid like, at the time, I think £40 for it, and I sold it for like 10. But yeah. I don't know why it's hiding your comment, Josh, but it was. I love them. 2 please, thank you very much. Once again, the $1.99 king has proven who he is. Again, 2 please also has a channel. There are, and I'm not saying this because obviously he sends money occasionally, or quite often if I'm honest. But I met 2 please at Macna, and I have a lot of time for him. Not about the, as I said, it's nothing to do with the money. He's a really, really like decent guy, and the same as with Gabe. They're both, I always say the people at the shows are what make the shows for me. And I spent an extended period of time with them, and also Milev's Reef, and because Mindy was working at the Fritz booth, so I was flying solo. And they were just genuinely really, really nice, down to earth people, and I like to always try to. I like a lot of my patrons. I send free coral to and stuff like that, or have done previously. I always like to try and give back, especially when people give for no reason. What's the biggest mistake you made with your tank so far? This is an easy one. The most heartbreaking, costly mistake I ever made, and even when I tell you this, you're not going to run out and get what I'm going to tell you to get, but if I had this, it would have stopped it. When the tank crashed, the tank lost power for 4 hours. That was it. 4 hours in the middle of the night. I know it was 4 hours because the timer on the cooker went off and restarted, and it was 4 hours later. And in 4 hours, that was it. That was enough to basically wipe out all my fish. My coral were fine. And the reason the fish were an issue was because the tank was probably, it wasn't overstocked originally, but as the fish grew, they took up more and more room, and they were quite big, energetic fish, things like sailfin tangs. And what happened was the oxygen level in the tank, as soon as all the power shut off, disappeared. Like, they used up very quickly. At first, all the fish were dead with their gills open. There was no ammonia in the water. They literally all suffocated. So what could have stopped that was a 100-pound, battery backup. Now, you hear me in loads and loads of videos, buy a battery backup, because they last 24 hours apparently. Even if they only last 4 hours or 6 hours, it's better than nothing, because if you have energetic fish or an overstocked tank, the oxygen will kill your fish before anything else. So that is the biggest mistake I ever made, not investing in a battery backup. I actually now have 4. Have I got them? No, I haven't got them with me. I've got some of the stuff in the Red Sea tank here. But I have 4 now, because I wouldn't be without them. Sorry, excuse me. Funny should come. Literally had a power cut last week for 11.5 hours. Jamie, how did it go? How was 11.5 hour power cut? My tank isn't as heavily stocked as it used to be. If you sometimes I put up videos on my old tank, but That day, I probably lost 2,000, as I said, 2,000 pounds of fish. And it's not the money. It literally is not the money. I hate it when I lose anything. If I lose anything, I try and find out what killed it. Because these are living creatures. And if I can learn from the last one, it might help stop the next one from dying, if you see what I mean. Bree Williams, thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. At this rate, I'm going to get some new paint for the ceiling. So the floorings hopefully will go in next week as well. Which will make it look even more murdery, because white plastic walls and a black rubber floor, easy to clean, will look proper dodgy. Will a copper band eat my clam? Possibly. That copper bands are. I mean, I never had trouble with mine. I lost my copper band. See, I lost fish in that in that tank crash, which I cannot replace, or I have never been able to replace, or to some extent I've never tried to replace. But I had a copper band which would literally attack food. It was the very first fish. If you watch my copper band video, you will see my fish in that, and you'll see how aggressive it was at feeding. You just don't get copper bands like that very often. It was one of a kind, and that's why I mean sometimes you think, no, I don't need a battery backup. Go and buy one. Go and buy one, because they're so important. It's like an insurance policy with a car. It's a pain to buy it, and then when you've got it, and then when you don't use it, you think it's a waste of money. But when you need it, you're so glad you've got it. Is it hard to have seahorses? Seahorses, as far as I'm concerned, are a pain in the arse. I quite like the idea of having them more than actually having them. The problem is, the main issue with them is feeding them. You need to feed them quite often. I've made this apple juice last an awful long time, Gabe. Psst, it's not apple juice, it's whiskey. Did you sell your black tang? I have not sold my black tang. Firstly, I don't even have a black tang. The fish you're referring to is actually a gem tang. Originally, someone wanted to buy it. They put down a deposit. They then had a tank crash because they didn't have a battery backup. Actually, that wasn't the reason that they had a tank crash. So I gave them the deposit back and said, look, when you're ready, if you want it, come back to me. It's someone I know. I get to see it again. I'm weirdly sentimental with my fish. Maybe not weirdly sentimental. Hopefully you're all as sentimental as I am. But even when I was breeding Banggai cardinals, I wasn't selling them. I was literally giving them away to people so I could go back and visit them, because each baby, as far as I'm concerned, was like something I not created, but helped grow. I have a low fish load, so luckily only lost one molly. However, the next day, skimmer filled up. Have you got mollies in your reef tank? You're only the second person I know who keeps mollies in their reef tank, because I know Reef Girl does. Reef Girl has a very interesting tank, which is specifically, well, it's not specifically, but it has a lot of mollies in it. Dexter's room, close enough. Why do you think I'm inviting you over, Nasty Nemo? Clownfish good. I'm thinking of scraping my purple algae off the live rock to go donate the LT with Aptasia. I know it sounds crazy. I would love seahorses. As I said, seahorses are a nice idea. Mindy loves her seahorses, but they take up so much time. And they're, as far as I'm concerned, they're not that much better than jellyfish. People who keep seahorses will totally disagree with me, because I got a little bit more attached to them from seeing hers. And they do sort of a little bit have their own personalities, although mostly it's just swaying, so I think I'm just trying to find a personality there. But yeah, so Luke Dowding, are you the I'm not sure how to say this without being offensive. Are you the younger person that was with their dad? Because if you are, let me know, because I spoke about you in the live stream last week. There's a possibility you could be someone else because I spend a lot of people with lots of people. I'm like that weird guy that just hangs around fish shops talking to people. If you see me, run, because you'll be there probably for the next hour. Oh, you are that guy. Look, I spoke about you in the last live stream that I did on Tuesday, and the reason I spoke about you is because I was just saying that it was so nice to have someone to see, like, a younger person first coming to the hobby. It reminded me of myself. I don't know. I don't actually know what coral you got in the end, because obviously I left just before you made your final purchase. I know you were hell bent on having those mushrooms. I don't know if you've seen mushrooms since then, but I have one of those furry green mushrooms. So there's basically, if you want to see, like, if you go onto the website, you'll be able to see some of the coral that I have, and I have one of those furry green mushrooms. And you'll see the difference between what you got. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you got that day. I started with dry rock and still introduced an Aptasia, even though I work so hard with regards to avoiding them. I'm just so annoyed about it now. Let's say annoyed. The reason, I'm surprised if you start with live rock that you've got Aptasia still. But what I would do if ever, I've only had Aptasia probably 3 times. I've only ever seen an Aptasia in a tank which I own. I don't think I've ever had one in my main display tank ever. I had a smaller nano tank at one point and a frag tank and stuff like that. But if a coral comes with an Aptasia on it, I would rather take the coral back and get my money back, or I would cut that section of the coral off and throw it away. Same as with rock, get it out, throw it away. It's not worth it, because all the time it's sitting there. Firstly, it's annoying you, and secondly, it's like it has the potential to make things much, much worse. I love those furry. Oh yeah, Josh got some furry mushrooms from me. Did you get some? You got some of the green furry mushrooms, didn't you? So if you got some of the green ones, you can tell Luke how good they are. I have a message which is held for review. Let me have a look what it says. Being young in the hobby comes with perks. I'm 15 and get a ton of free stuff. When I was younger, I never got free stuff. I occasionally get some free stuff now. It's got Aaron's Aquarium was saying this on his live stream as well. That occasionally people will just come and say, "Look, I really like what you do. Here's a piece of coral. It's nice. It's nice to. I feel appreciated, basically." Now, I promised I would be here 1 hour, and we have just hit the 1 hour mark, which means I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. And once that timer goes off, that's it. Because as I said, I promised myself that I would give myself a break tonight. A break from the fish stuff. As I said, I got to call Mindy. A break from my other work, a break from the website, a break from everything. So I will be here for 10 more minutes. So one of you actually set a timer and you tell me when I have to leave. What time is it in the UK? I think, unfortunately, the timer on my laptop says it's 2:14 for some reason. So I don't know what country it thinks I'm in. If someone donates 50 more, 1 more hour, I'll consider it. Although my iPhone's going to run out of battery. What's the web address? My website is www.prestigereef.co.uk. I've got a slight stocking issue at the moment because, like, I didn't realise the amount of people that would want coral from me. So it doesn't look as good as it used to. At one point in time, every single coral on there was for sale. But I never wanted the website to be like some of the other coral websites I see, where it says out of stock, out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. But my aim is to get it enough coral on there so that when something does go out of stock, I can remove it. It doesn't matter. What is the best affordable coral for fragging? It really depends on what you're into. It really depends on what you're into. I literally started with mushrooms and have gradually worked my way up since there. Casey Reefs, unfortunately, I can't ship to other countries. It's against the law. It's to do with CITES. It's basically treated the same as rhino horn, which is crazy if you think about it, considering we grow it in our own tanks. But it's just not allowed. Best coral for fragging is zoas. Zoas are a good beginner coral, which people and they grow pretty quick. So yeah, they're not the easiest things to frag. It's not like a piece of SPS coral where you just snip it and go. Zoas are a bit more involved, but you can, if you let them grow onto another rock and just separate it, I suppose that's easy. Be a Patreon to Prestige. Thank you very much, Two Please. You do too much for me. At some point in time, you're going to have to. I extended an invitation to Reef Girl, because she always helps me out, to come to England and stay here at some point. Now I don't have a second bed yet, so obviously prepare me before you want to come. But at some point in time, if you ever make it to the UK, let me know, because as I said, I really appreciate what people do for me. It's very, as I said a minute ago, it's very humbling. It's incredibly humbling that people actually are interested in what I have to say. It's like, why are people listening to me now? Like, surely you have other things. You must have wives and girlfriends and like TV, even watching paint dry. I mean, you've got to have other things to do than watching me. But for some reason, you know, it's like people are here. That's why I some YouTubers don't appreciate their fans. Fans is a funny word. Some YouTubers don't appreciate the people that follow their channel and appreciate what they do. I love meeting all of you. That's why you'll always find, if you see me in a fish shop, come and say hello. Come and say hello, because every time someone comes to say hello to me, it makes me feel good. So my missus just asked me who I'm watching. Did you explain to her that there's this fish weirdo on YouTube that occasionally, you know, puts up videos? I will try and be better with uploading. I know recently, the reason I've done live streams, as I said, is because I am exhausted. I'm so exhausted at the moment. And I shouldn't moan, because there's people who do much harder jobs than what I do. But I feel really tired mentally. And to some extent, this is very real, very honest. It gets you down. And as I said in the last live stream, I sort of need a break, because it is starting. I don't even know why I'm telling you this, but it's starting to affect me, which is why I've not done as many videos recently. And the other thing is that the person, my partner, lives in another country. So it's fun. Americans always think it's funny when I say partner, because it sounds like I'm talking about a man. But my girlfriend obviously lives in another country, which comes with its downsides, obviously, because you don't get to see each other all the time. But I'm working on changing that. That's why I said you all go message her. Tell her to come move here. Tell her I've got this fantastic fish room. You know, what more does she need? Two Please again, thank you very much. I will talk to you afterwards. I'll talk to you afterwards. You're gradually, see, the drink that I bought you at Macna, you know, that whiskey sort of stuff, I can't remember what it was, but the jug that I bought you, which you tried to pay me for, which I said no, you are gradually paying me back slowly. So, like, but as I said, I always appreciate, I just appreciate people that like the videos, people that comment, because it does actually make a big difference. Everyone who likes and comments on the videos, YouTube sees it as engagement. Even if you dislike the videos, YouTube sees it as engagement, and they go, oh, people are interested in this. Okay, Reef Girl has just told everyone her parameters. Oh, alkalinity 7.6. Oh, you're treading a fine line there. Magnesium 1,385. You prefer 1,400. Yeah, I keep mine around 1,400. Nitrate 1, too low. Yep, time. Give your fish a feast this evening. One is, look, obviously, as long as they've got something, it's better than nothing. There's this common misconception that corals don't want any nitrate or phosphate. That is a really not good idea for a coral reef. I've lost where I am. Every time I get a message, which is every time someone swears or something in a comment, I have to open it. Clownfish are the best for beginners, mate. Have a look at my channel. That's why, because if people say look at my channel, it blocks it. I don't. That's a YouTube thing. That's not me. Like, go look at Reef King's channel. If you make great content, Reef King, people will come anyway. So that's what I always say to people when people go, oh, give me a shout, give me a shout. People will come. If you make great content, you'll get as many followers. But the problem is, if I send people there and people don't like it, you've then lost a potential follower. This is Killer Ryan. Sorry we screwed you up. You need some chill time. Friction burn. Love your accent. Wish I had it. It's funny because I don't love my accent, but I don't think anyone loves their own accent. When you're born with it, you're just used to it. You mean the murder pleasure room? Pleasure first, then murder? The police are so going to be watching this, and they come to the house at one point. Ryan buying drinks. What? I buy drinks for everyone. I've only met you once, Casey. I only met you once, and we bumped into each other probably for 30 seconds, I think. But next time I see you, I'll buy you a drink. I always thought you would drink fish bowls at I always thought they drink fish bowls at Macna. There is a lot of drinking on at Macna. I'm not sure. I have no idea what I drank, but it was really good. It tasted like pineapple and stuff. See, Rico makes fun of me because I drink wine, and he says no woman will ever respect you if you drink wine. And I was sitting there with Mindy, nervous because I didn't know that we didn't know we liked each other at that point. And I ordered a glass of wine. And he said to me, that's why she doesn't like you, Ryan, because, she wants a real man. So I've got whiskey now. But apparently, you can drink wine, so it's fine. Oh, 1 second, it's frozen. Oh, it froze. It's a good thing I'm not sitting in my boxes or anything when I get up. The reason it freezes is because it tells me my iPhone's about to run out of battery. So, I got a 1 minute warning from Gabe. I've probably gone over that already. I always enjoy the content. Do you have any plans for merch? I don't think anyone would buy merch from me. And what would you want? Like, what could I do that would... I tried to make a Prestige Reef t-shirt once, but it was rubbish. We can get drinks at Mackinac Reef Palooza, New York. I don't know when my next thing is. It's too expensive to keep flying to America. That's why I got to get Mindy to come here. How long does it take to plan your system? Hardly any time at all, because someone else is planning it for me because they're a genius and I am not. Miss Saltwater Tank is coming through with the wine. Yeah, I think we used to drink wine together. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Rusty's Aquariums, thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. As I said, every penny which comes through is going to the fish room. So, you don't have to. No one has to send me anything. Literally, no one has to send me anything. But it's really greatly appreciated when you do. Great content, one of the best. I wouldn't say one of the best. I try my hardest. Let's put it that way. Gabe, $2. Thank you very much. Time is up. It's time for me to go. So let me very quickly scan through. Oh, I'm at the bottom. Bin Tennis Ryan, good luck. Can you make some merch? Maybe one day. I want that shirt. I'll take a t-shirt. Don't go. I have to go, Co-Cracker. Make money for the fish room from the merch. Good idea. Right, everyone. It has been an absolute pleasure. I will probably try to do more of these. If you want me to keep doing them, I'll come. I need to move my camera. The problem is my tripod's too low, so it looks like you're seeing this much of me rather than this. But I'll get there. But yeah, it's greatly appreciated. It's greatly appreciated. So I'm gonna go watch. I'm gonna call Mindy and then go watch Chasing Corals, and I will speak to you all later. So have a good one. See you later. Thank you very much. And bye-bye. And I have to get up. You have to, I'm not very good at this. I have to get up and go turn it off. So see you later.